Man, it is so good to see you guys. I look forward to this every single week. I love it. I love it. And apparently, I am not in Facebook jail. So that's good. What is up? What is up? It is so awesome to see you. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Tony. Hi, Robin. Hi, everybody. Are you having a nice Sunday? I am groggy. Groggy, I say. Like, I can't decide. Well, now it's kind of sunny out, but this morning it was like really. Richard Grass, what is up, my man? Good to see you. Oh, it's Rachel. Oh, hi, Rachel. Sorry. You said it's Rachel. And then, I saw Richard Grass. Reading, apparently not my strong suit. Hi. Hi, 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 hi. The best part of my week is being here every Sunday. Really? I look forward to seeing you, too. There is something so needed about... See, Robin didn't read it either. It's Rachel, Robin. See, I said it too. I'm like, hey, Richard Grass. Guess he's going by Richard Grass these days. And then I'm like, Omi, what is up? Hi, hello. I'm like fantasizing about weird things. You lost your sound. Oh no. Did anybody else lose their sound? I usually listen while I cook Sunday breakfast, but today I listen on the way to the skate park. Coffee and sage. Aw, that is so sweet. You guys are so, hi Connie. How are you today? It's so wonderful. And this is so nice. Like, you guys kind of know each other, right? This is a place where people come regularly, and it's so sweet. And oh, good, it's back. I'm so glad. The coronavirus, you can't really technically go anywhere. You can hear? Okay, good, Robin. I'm so glad. You can't really go anywhere. I am very good. Thank you for asking, Connie. I'm very good. And so, I've just been, dreaming about doing things that, well, for me now, I love going to Sam's Club. I love Sam's Club. So, Rocky, my wife, she makes fun of me all the time because she doesn't want to go to Sam's Club. And I'm like, I'll go to Sam's Club every darn day. I love those cartoon animations of you. I traveled more during Corona. Really, Omi? Where have you traveled? Tell me about that. What have you done? Where have you gone? And so, I've been daydreaming about, just came back from Philly. Woo, nice. About going to Disney World. I haven't been to Disney World in several years. And my kid is he's going to be 16 this coming Saturday, and it's just but it's a sweet place. If you've ever had the opportunity to go to Disney World, hopefully you enjoyed it. And the customer service of Disney World is really special. Philly, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Willing, Calais. Wow, Omi, that's awesome. Those are fun places. Did you do something fun every time you were there? Every time you went, every place you went, did you go and do something fun? One of the most memorable museums for me is in Pittsburgh, and it's called the Mattress Factory. And love it. North Carolina this weekend. What? Omi, you are living the dream. Good job. That is great. That is wonderful. I have not traveled at all. I'm usually a pretty prolific camper, and I only camped once this summer, and it was late it was early October. It was now last month because it's November 1st. And I bet North Carolina is really nice this time of year. We took advantage of Detroit being dead downtown, and my kids got to skateboard down the middle of the city. What? We just go skateboard different places? Wow. That is a cool thing. Man, don't people lead really interesting lives? Like, it's so neat to hear different people's lives and how they live, and and how like thoughtful their lives become. Like, if your family's into skateboarding, that's so amazing. See the world through skateboarding, right? Like, you can then, that's just like the United States. You could start going international. I'm watching this show. Love Camping couldn't go this year. Yeah, me either. Well, yeah, we just kind of chose not to. When we were in Philadelphia, we lost ACAB signs and Antifa signs, and now what's going on over there? Yeah, Philadelphia is really hot right now, and maybe, in a tumultuous, hot way. Henry Ford Museum in Greenfield Village in Michigan is awesome. If you've ever gone, I've never been. See the world through skate, and also my kids get to meet other skaters. Wow, right? That's amazing. Are your kids like really good skaters? That's so cool, Omi. Like, I'm watching this show on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit, and I haven't finished it yet. So, and I'm not going to tell you about it, but it's like a show, so there's drama, and right now her life is really hard, and I don't know how her life is going to end, and but the whole thing is my family's into PS4 games. Do you travel based on like gaming? My kid is into PC games, and right now I don't know if you can hear him, but he's talking right now with friends. Like, he has friends all over the world. And we're supposed to go to Philly this weekend to go back to the FDR skate park, and ended up canceling and going to Crooked River. Wow. They aren't that good, but they'll get better. They aren't that good, but that's all that matters, right? And it keeps them out of the streets. That is so awesome. So at any rate, this woman who's like a really good, the Queen's Gambit in the show I'm watching, she's like this really great chess player, and she like gets to go all these cool places for chess, and what a great way to travel is like themed travel. So that's so cool. We talk to people on the internet that play games. Yeah. You can do that with PS4. We are on the way to the West Coast beach today. Wow, Robin, that's beautiful. That's wonderful. So, yeah, that's one of the great things. I have been so thankful for gaming, online gaming in coronavirus, because my kid, he goes to Firestone here in Akron, and they're distance learning. And I don't know, are they ever going to go back to school? And without the internet, I honestly don't know how he would have maintained any relationships. But in a way, he has now found these wonderful relationships, and is meeting people he would never have gotten to meet had not coronavirus happened. And so my kids have noticed every city we go to has homeless people, and they use to be surprised. Thought it was just Akron, Ohio. Wow. Taking a drive to looking at the fall colors today. Oh, are you really? Oh, that looks, this is going to be, there's a lot of beautiful colors still out there, huh? Yeah, I left my Xbox in 2015, and one of my Instagram friends made it possible. No kidding. Wow. Well, that's so, I'm sorry about, your, I don't know if it was good or bad. I'm sorry you had to break up, but you seem to have landed on your feet, Omi. You are inspirational. And you know what? And look, here's the thing. So we're all together now, right? People that would not normally come together are now together on the internet, and like we're learning things. Like, who would have thought to your internet friends are the best? Yeah, they're like, it's real. It's a real thing. My ex landed. Oh, really? Oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing. We're all part of a sewing community on Instagram, and she told me some of her work and brought me a car. Wow. That's amazing. So like, Omi doing this amazing traveling the country through skating. Who would have ever thought to do that? Like, it would have never dawned on me. But what a wonderful idea. What a wonderful idea. I just and because of the internet, you get to share those kinds of things. And I think sometimes with the internet, you get to meet people that are very different than you. Like, so, in regular communities, which are awesome, like churches and stuff like that, you find people that are very nice, but very similar to you, right? Whereas on the internet, anybody from anywhere in the world can pop in. You have a folder of skate parks to take your kids to. Wow. And you have a skate community on Instagram. That's so cool, Omi. That's so cool. Blowing my mind. Isn't that true? Like, I don't want to get like too religious, like, because sometimes the words make people feel icky, which is so unfortunate about religion. It should never make anybody feel icky, but they do. But like, they said that saying, when a door is closed, God opens a window, right? They say that or whatever. My son's 19 and plays with some guys in the UK. They've been friends for years. Some really interesting discussions go on. They've been talking through all of these COVID and political times. Yeah, amazing, right, Brandy? My 16-year-old kid, made this declaration last week. The internet. Oh, sorry. Oh, jeez. There you go. I don't know what's going on. Nothing is going on. My dogs always think it's the end of the world. It's never anything. The internet's a modern day church. Sorry, I hate religion though. Yeah, anytime, like, religion has become so contaminated, and man, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be an opening, right? Like, I hope this isn't, what's that? Hi, Alex. So at any rate, like, I just think about like how listening to you guys talk, like Brandy, her son's 19 and he's playing games with people in the UK. This isn't some cult shit. What do you think makes a cult? Like, I think a cult is probably something. I wrote about cults. My son's public school assigned reading the book of Genesis. I have a meeting Monday about it. Oh, interesting. That's weird, right, Omi? I mean, there's a lot of things to read in the world. I don't know why you would have to pick Genesis. And I'm assuming you're not talking about the rock band. Maybe you are. Maybe you just got it wrong, Omi. Maybe it's actually about Phil Collins, and you just didn't look into it. And there's a really wonderful book about Genesis, the rock band. Yeah, it's inappropriate. Of course it's inappropriate. Because religion is a very private thing, right? Like, my hope for everyone is that they find some spiritual connection to the universe, or a Bible from religion where, yeah, maybe it is. You should just go get a book from Amazon about Genesis, the rock band, and be like, hey, was this the Genesis book you were talking about? Because I there's not a lot of them, so my kid's going to read about Phil Collins. and we're gonna listen to a lot of Phil Collins songs into the night. My hope is that you all find a spiritual connection to the universe, but it's so personal. They had to identify the trickster in the Adam and Eve. Are you kidding me? I told him to write it was God. Don't you think so, though? Like, God, that story of Job. You guys know that story where him and the devil make a bet that Job will be loyal to God, and they just do really, really crappy things to him? Interesting, though, Omi, that you mentioned the trickster, because just this morning I was talking to my wife about her school that she's the development director at, and they teach Nordic myth. Put hungry people in front of a delicious apple. Oh, yeah. Who's going to do it, right? It's so ridiculous. And she was just telling me the story of Loki. So if you remember these Nordic, you had, and if you're watching any of the Avengers series now, you probably know about Loki and Thor, right? And so Loki is the trickster. And what Rocky was saying was that in her school, they really build up how Loki is this great guy. And he's fun. Yeah, I found the trickster in Nordic, Hindi, and African proverb. Yeah. So, and they're like, you're kind of like, they make it in her school that they become pro Loki. They're like, yay, Loki, he's so fun. And then he does something. Now, Rocky didn't tell me what he did, but he does something that is bad. And he makes a mistake. And he does something bad. And she said that it's intentional with the students or I don't know if it's intentional, but that the teacher was telling Rocky that the kids get really hurt by it because they're like, but Loki was our friend, and now he did a bad thing. And man, isn't that a discussion to have? So, Omi, you're obviously highly educated. So it's so interesting. If your school is having conversations about the trickster in Adam and Eve, which I imagine is the snake, right? The serpent. Then talking about Loki, watching the Avengers, or even I don't know what TV show it's on, but the Vikings. The Vikings is wonderful. It's really gory though. I don't know what age your kids are, but it's really great. It's fairly true to history, I guess, that people we can love are flawed. Wow. Isn't that right, Omi? Isn't that the ultimate message? That we can love the devil? Isn't that what the logical conclusion of love your enemy is? Isn't that it? That's what they want them to write, and that doesn't teach any lesson other than the biblical lesson. No critical thinking to it at all. Of course, they are indoctrinating them into Christianity. And then you're involved in a cult, right? Because now it's duality. Oh, and contradiction. Wow, Omi, you are smart. You are a wise human. When you have these two-dimensional characters where God is good and Satan is bad, and that's just the way it is, that seems to be an earmark for a cult, for dogmatic thinking. Your sound went out? Are you serious? All right. I think I'm still got the sound. I don't know. Let me know if other people are having that problem. I did run over a bunch of cords. My cord game is not great. Back. I missed what you said. Oh. Hold on. My cords are a mess. I'm sure. So, like, what I was saying is that it's that when they're indoctrinating your kids into Christianity, and they're not doing critical thinking, they're creating dogma that God is good, Satan is bad, and that's it, and you are a loser. Those are the messages, right? God is good, Satan is bad, and you suck. And that's it. And then we're off to the races. The yin and the yang, the Tao. Yes, you must find balance and contradiction, and they are needed. Now, I don't understand how Satan and God can be equal. I don't really understand that. I don't think that is even accurate. Like, it's a bad balance. You were born a bad person. Yeah. And that's what they're saying, right? That Genesis story is saying, you suck. We told you to not do one thing, and what did you do? You did it. You can't even have a thought, but yet you deserve to burn in hell. Yes! And may I say, what a dick move by God to put the tree of knowledge right in the middle of the park and be like, don't touch it. Why? Am I a puppy dog? Are you going to put a bowl of kibble in the middle of the kitchen and be like, don't eat that? Hey, Joyce, how's it going? How about if you were like a good God and you didn't want that, you would just take it out? No, you're setting them up for failure. I watched a Cops one night. You know that show Cops, Bad Boys. You know that show? Totally racist show. And because it was always black people that got caught, you know, I mean, way higher than the percentage of black people in America. That's how people end up on drugs. Yes. And what they did was they put a bicycle out, unchained in the middle of the night, okay? That's why I didn't raise my kids like that. Yeah. And then it was just it was a setup to get people to steal the bike, and then they'd arrest the people. And it was always black people. They'd find the bike, they'd walk off with the bike, and then the police would roll up and they would arrest. But there was one catch. It was a multi-$1,000 bicycle in the hood, okay? This bicycle was worth several $1,000s. And so then they could get them for grand theft. Can you imagine what kind of hit job that is on an inner city? They did it to make those people fail. And isn't that exactly what God did with that tree? Isn't that exactly what God did with that tree? He put a multi-$1,000 bicycle in the middle of it and said, don't take it. It's the worst. I don't know how people got beyond that story. I don't know how anybody turned the page after that and said, well, tell me more about this amazing deity. Here are drugs in this pretty box. I'll put it on top of the fridge. You will see it every day, but never, ever open it. Yes. We see drugs on TV and hear the music. It's glorified. It's bright and colorful. Then we show you crackheads and the horrible life they have because of drugs. It's dark and gray. Black and white thinking. No spectrum. Nothing in between. It's either all good or all bad, and that's not how life works. Yes. Gosh, homie. You are awesome. The story of Lot made me throw my book across the room. Lot's wife, where he looks back and she turns to, yes. Terrible, terrible stories. I think they're pretty horrendous. Not beautiful stories, right? But then that's the Old Testament. And so, hold on. I feel like I'm yelling too much. My wife starts the whole day with so when do you start yelling at people again? I'm like, 10 o'clock, honey. Okay, I'll have my headphones on, where he gets raped by his daughter. Okay, hi, honey. Yeah, I gotta, Wait, he gets raped by his daughter? What? I got to go read that. That's crazy. Or how they put prostitutes on the street and arrest people for hiring them. Yes! Sounds a lot like a story to cover up a dad raping their daughters and impregnating them. Yeah, okay. I imagine maybe you meant that he raped her, but it would be really cool if she raped him. I mean, not cool, but that would be at least interesting. Anyway, sounds a lot like a story to cover. Yes. So, that cannot be the deity we want, right? Who wants that? Who wants that God? Because he had 2 daughters, no son, they brought him shame. Yeah, brought him shame having daughters. Yeah, of course, of course. And then you wonder why women have no rights. I watched, or I not watched. I'm reading a biography of the 1910s through the 1920s of Dorothy Day, and they were talking about how women at the time, it was illegal for women to smoke in public. I mean, it's kind of a little thing, but it's kind of not a little thing. Why could a man smoke in public, but a woman couldn't? And that was 100 years ago, which, like your grandparents, maybe. It is too early to say we have won the war, on again of women's oppression. It's a constant war. The Bible's used to persecute and oppress people since it was created. I think so. So I'm thinking about creating my own philosophy. And it's a little embarrassing to say those words because, I mean, you have to be kind of a little egocentric or a lot egocentric to be like, I'm going to make a philosophy. But really, I would recommend, like, Omi should create her own philosophy because I'm quite sure she could. What I think is this. I think that got to take the kids to work and others to escape. Okay, Omi, you have a great day. Thank you for being here. That's so fun. You go have a great life. It sounds like you're really leading a good life. Wonderful. So what I would recommend, I think that we have these philosophies and religions, really big in talk. Yeah, that's okay, Omi. I have a man. Well, let's write it down. Write it down. I want to read it. They're store-bought spiritualities and philosophies. They're out there for you to go to shop in, like the Home Depot of philosophy and spirituality, and you pull one off the shelf and you're like, yeah, this one looks pretty good. I'll take this one. And then you can pick and choose from it, like, as opposed to like, or let's call it clothes. I think this is even better. Like, it's like going to Macy's or Dillard's, or Kohl's. Is Dillard's even a thing? I don't even know. You walk in and you buy off the rack. You buy off the rack because, you don't want to make your clothes. You don't want to design your clothes. You want to look at a bunch of clothes and you're like, oh, those are nice. That's a nice blouse. That's a nice skirt. Those are nice pants. That's a nice shirt. That's a nice tie. I will buy it and I will wear it because it represents me. Do me a favor and read the story of Lot, and then, okay, I will. I'm going to write it down. Read Lot. I'm going to write that down. Read Lot. Let me write that down. Read Lot. I will. Thank you. Oh my gosh, what happened there? What? Hold on. Oh, Lord. Hold on. I'm coming back. I don't know why it did that. Anyways, so yeah, like, there's philosophers. There's like Immanuel Kant. There's John Stuart Mill. I mean, a lot of people loved Ayn Rand, whatever, there's all these people. There's like, when in the 80s, there was a guy that wrote Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. Then you have like all these people, like these self-help books. They're just all like these manifestos. And some like become sacred. They become sacred texts or, sacred ideologies that last thousands of years. Like, so, Confucius was 500 BC, and we're still talking about Confucianism. Jesus 2,000 years ago, Mohammed, Buddha. You get it, right? So these are the sacred texts because they're only sacred because they seem to have resonated for a good long time. But then along the way, loved the Zen series. Yeah, did you watch that? Yeah. So I just finished the Confucius one last night, and I think it was my favorite. And so, I don't want to become a Confucius. He really basically hated women, so that's a deal breaker. And he was too in love with authority, So I'm not going to wear Confucianism, I'm not going to wear it because there are some parts of it that I might wear. Like I might be inspired. I might take a lapel pin from Confucianism, maybe, because he was like, be nice to people, be kind. You're like, okay, Mr. Confucius, I like that. I'll take that part. But you ignoring women, it's going to go, and that was a big part, so really I'm not going to wear your whole outfit. No, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And so, you can pick and choose. You go into the Kohl's of philosophy and religion, and you buy things off of the shelves. They're all the good ones. Yeah, those are all the good ones. Yeah, we have bad ones too. Yes, of course we have bad ones. Like the NXIVM guy, okay? So the NXIVM guy, did you watch that sex cult leader? He's got 120 years of prison because what he would do is he would brand women. He would call them slaves and demean them. He would basically make them turn in receipts that he would blackmail them with if they ever left the cult. Terrible human, right? And so what makes something like Christianity good and NXIVM bad? Well, I think or even like Judaism, right? Judaism was the Old Testament, and if you know any Jewish people, they're very community-oriented. They're wonderful people, but they have this book with a lot of weird stories in it. You gotta admit. I'm not saying the New Testament doesn't have its own fair share of crazy, but, the Old Testament, there's some, stoning people for some fairly mundane activities, is all I'm saying. But it's still better than NXIVM, is what I'm getting at. NXIVM was bullcrap, and it demeaned people, it enslaved them basically, and entrapped them, and it probably ruined their lives. You can recover, but you are forever going to be scarred, literally branded, some of them, with the initials of the NXIVM leader on your pelvis or wherever you put it. Terrible. And then, you have the Jones cult, and you got all these crazy cults. And I think the bad ones are the ones that isolate people, demean people, and take their dignity. And the good ones are the ones that bring people together, raise people up, increase their dignity, increase the happiness in their lives. And I feel like that's the general umbrella of how you can decide if a store-bought philosophy or religion is good or bad. I think that's generally, the Nazis. Okay, good one. Fascist, right? So fascists are getting a lot of bad press, and I don't know enough to say if there's any good fascists in the world. I don't know. I'm not a fascist expert. But there you go. The Nazis. So probably the people I hate the most are Nazis. And every time I see an American with a Nazi flag, I really debate quickly the pros and cons of murdering them. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that, but I won't murder them, but I really do. I hate Nazis. I hate them. We fought so hard to end the Nazi regime as a world and as a country, and I see these losers carrying around Nazi flags, and I go irate. I do. I'm not going to do anything. I don't. I don't want to call myself a pacifist because I don't want you to think that I'm not active. Passive means not active. That's not true. But I will not hurt or murder a person. I just won't. That's off the board for me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Everything else is negotiable at this point in my life. I'm still just writing blog posts. That's pretty much all I do. And I yell on Facebook. But I am a non-violent, meaning violence towards humans, person. See, can't let the Nazis turn you into a Nazi. Good point. You're right. So at any rate, it is cool, however, I will say, in America that we let those losers walk around with their stupid loser Nazi flags. I kind of dig it, and I know a lot of Nazis, okay? That's the other mix. I know many people who have swastikas tattooed on their body, okay? It's in the homeless community. They come out of prison, and so my black and white verbal thinking here is not as black and white as you might think. I have several friends who are Nazis, but I wish they wouldn't be. Just be anything besides a Nazi. Anyways. Bad cult, the Nazi cult. Yes. And I think, again, you could be like, well, why was it bad? Well, there was a lot of murder, but I don't know that murder, a lot of people murder. Americans murder a lot of people. I think it was the hatred for specific people. If they were just randomly murdering people, say, in a specific country, like, well, I want to overtake that country, so I'm going to have to murder a lot of those people, then we would all understand. I'm saying this sarcastically and shockingly, but you get my feeling, right, that this is kind of acceptable. You're like, well, there was a war, and a lot of, people die in wars. So at any rate, but the problem with the Nazis was, I think, the laser beam focus on the specific hate by, obviously the Jews, but also the LGBTQIA group, gypsies, just a lot of, they just were like, I hate you. Why do you hate you? Because you're you. You're just born that way. So I will be killing you now in mass numbers. So I think that's the insidious evilness of Nazis. So at any rate, these are bad cults. Any cult that is, or any philosophy that is destructive is bad, right? Whereas a religion, cult, or philosophy that is based basically on do no harm or the golden rule, Confucius would say, don't do things to other people that you wouldn't want done to yourself. Do unto me as I would. The Bible took that, but Confucius said it first. Confucius said the golden rule. Look up Always Wear Sunscreen on YouTube and please watch it. Okay, I will. I can't imagine. Okay, I will. So at any rate, I'll write that down. Now, my thing freaks out when I write, so I'm not going to write. I'll just try to remember that. So what I can is like I think that is how you. When you are you join a group and then that group is like, hey, you need to leave your family, which that's a red flag. But Jesus said to do that. Okay. That's pretty clear that Jesus was like, you need to leave your family and follow me. So that seems a little unhealthy if you ask me. But now we don't really do that, I make my kids listen to it every few months. Okay, I'll check it out, Omi. We conveniently bypass some of the weirder stuff our spiritual leaders say, or even our philosophical leaders say, so that we can, get to the points we like. There's a lot of like philosophers that had come out of Germany, particularly, that were Jew haters. I don't like the word anti-Semitic because I think a lot of people don't know what that word means, so I just like to say Jew haters, because that is pretty much self-descriptive. But we still read them and incorporate them into our education, because if you look at our losers, our leaders, how many of them aren't terrible? Okay? So let's run it down. Jesus could have been gay. I'm not saying that's bad or anything, but we don't know. The benefit Jesus has is that he was, everyone is a follower, they just refuse to admit it. Yeah, right on. Right. So, we don't know what Jesus did, but he probably had some skeletons in his closet, I'm quite sure. We know that Gandhi did really terrible things. His wife was sick, I believe, with cancer, and he withheld the treatment because, like she's a woman and you're not supposed to do that. But when he was sick, he got the treatment. He also slept with like his 14-year-old niece, and I think she was naked, to test that he wouldn't do anything to her. And apparently he did not do anything to her, but it's still creepy as fuck. Okay, sure, everyone, yes. So Martin Luther King apparently cheated on his wife. So, obviously I don't need to tell you what Bill Cosby was like. Total nightmare. Bill Clinton, evil, terrible person in my mind. Never heard anything about Barack Obama. He might actually be a decent human being. Hard to know. Didn't Kennedy sleep with Marilyn Monroe in the White House? I mean, I don't believe a word in the Bible. It's probably safest. Yeah, so, I mean, the problem we have is that we have these humans that are human that have real problems, but we're like, but the thing you said over here was pretty good. And I don't know why humans are become so trapped by their basic instincts, but they're powerful. You can't deny their power. And I lead a pretty mundane life, other than swearing. It's the one thing. I do not cheat on my wife. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I go to bed. I try to start getting ready for bed at 8:30. Now, I usually go to bed and then watch some TV until maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock. But, that's the kind of life I live 7 days a week. If I'm not getting ready to go to bed by 8:30, I'm behind. Okay? And one of the reasons I'm doing that now is because I look around and I see such poor leadership, such weak individuals in leadership roles. And I have trained myself to tamp down my appetites through addiction. I've learned how, like, because I was a raging alcoholic, I learned how to calm that, and I learned how to calm many of my appetites. I can lose weight. I can calorie count. I'm a pretty disciplined person. Hey, Jim Boykin. I do drugs. I drink. I work. I raise my kids. I eat like shit most days. And guess what? I'm a decent person. That makes you actually a great person. You see, there we go, Omi. There it is. And do you know why it makes you a great person? Because you said it. You said the hidden. You said the hidden thing. And most of us are afraid to say the hidden thing. Okay? Most of us are afraid of our weaknesses because it'll make you look weak. Well, guess what? We are weak. We are wrecks. Human beings are wrecks. But what makes us worse wrecks is we look around and we're like, boy, everybody else has got their shit together. I wish I had my shit together. It's like Instagram. You know, like they're saying that Instagram is causing increased depression and even suicide rates in young people. It's because Instagram is exactly like a suburb, like a housing development. You drive into a housing development, all the lawns are manicured, the cars are washed. There's maybe, if it's a Saturday afternoon, there's one little, toy vehicle in the driveway because the kid just walked in, but they'll go get that and put that away right away. Everything is perfect. Everything is perfect, and you drive in there and you're like, I want that. I want to live that life. I want to live a perfect life. I want that. But it's all a lie. It's all a lie. These people behind these closed doors are doing drugs, are drinking, are eating like shit. They're leading. Yeah, it's a fake. It's a Instagram and suburbs and housing developments are facades. I watched Kim Kardashian on the David Letterman. He's got a show, I forget what it's called, but he interviews cool people. And I wasn't going to watch it. I was actually going to watch a different one, but I fell into the Kim Kardashian one. And what was interesting was she said, when we started on the internet, we were like the deal was to show how rich we were and how cool we were. But now the idea is to show how regular we are. So now, and like you'll see it, like you go and watch all these famous celebrities on Instagram and TikTok and all of that. All you're going to see them doing is like regular stuff because that's what's cool now. People want to feel connected to them because they're just like them. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. Facade after facade, yeah, the great pretenders. I think that's what we all have become because no one is bold enough to say what Omi says. Just, there you go. There you go. I mean, like, it wasn't long ago when it was a weakness, a failing to be divorced, especially a divorced mom. Why aren't you married again? Why didn't you get married? What did you do? We're still doing that. Why are you doing drugs? But their regular normals are even fake. Yeah, of course of course it's all fake. Every part of it. Well, do they drink a Diet Coke? Sure. Do they go to In-N-Out Burger? Yes, because everyone should go to In-N-Out Burger. But you're not seeing all the other stuff. Kim Kardashian had her 40th birthday on a private island, and I think somebody had a hologram of her dad created, okay? All right? They bought out the entire island and then, didn't social distance because they're the Kardashians. And that's the reality. You need to do a podcast so it's easier to listen to I actually will put this, I do record this and put it on YouTube. And I will definitely consider that, Omi. I go back and forth. I've been putting it on YouTube, but I can understand if you wanted. I don't know if anybody wanted to, but listening to these on, I had a podcast and I took it down because I wasn't promoting it. I was just, blah, blah, blah. But at any rate, my whole point of this is that we're all doing it. These young girls are watching their friends on Instagram lead these fake lives that they're learning about from Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton and and Taylor Swift and all these people that are teaching you how to live fake wonderful lives. How's your life? It's so wonderful. My life is so wonderful. I'm so blessed. That's all you hear. But the fact of the matter is, crazy crap is going on. So I believe we need to explore our weaknesses so that the weaknesses are what connects us. The weaknesses are what makes us be like, oh my gosh, thank God. That's the beauty of an AA meeting. The greatest part of an AA meeting is going in and realizing that your problems aren't all that bad. You should have seen the other guy. And we're all one big Truman Show. We sure seem to be, right? It's the same with like cancer support groups. You go and you talk about the scary, bad stuff because it connects you. The beauty and perfection of your lives, the facade of your life, separates you. You understand? And so when a person like Omi boldly says what she says, it's a relief. Isn't it? Isn't it a relief? Yeah, that's true, Robin. Because you're like, oh my gosh, I do drugs. I do meth. I do opiates. I do pot. I drink. I don't want to, Do you know how many homeless people lie to me about their drug use? All I have ever said is be honest with me. Just tell me the truth. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. You are not going to get thrown out. You're not going to get in trouble. You just be honest with me. And the reason I got to that point was because not only were they not being honest with me, I think they were lying to themselves. I think they believed their lies so much they believed them themselves. I mean, at least that's how it looked to me, because they couldn't have believed in themselves. But I'm going through this right now with a homeless guy. That he lied to me for years. And not just me, everybody. He told me countless times he never did slow. He never did opiates. He never did fentanyl. He never did heroin. Now, I find out he likes to do, what do they call it? When you do fentanyl and meth at the same time, a speedball, I think you call it. That's how he does it. It's how he's always done it. Now, and what's great about it now is you can tell me things because I have no authority in any homeless facility. And in fact, I kind of crafted it that way. Yeah, there you go. Aaron said it. I would rather be friends with a truthful heroin addict than a lying alcoholic. Any day of the week. Ugh, any day of the week. And I think I understand it. I think I understand why they do it. Because they're embarrassed, right? They're ashamed. They have been taught that their addiction is a weakness. But it is not a weakness. It's a possession. You have been possessed by a demon called fentanyl. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, your doctor got you hooked on it. And then he wants you to get off of fentanyl and get on Suboxone. Same crap. It's the same. A lot of times, Suboxone's harder to wean off of than actual fentanyl. Methadone, Suboxone. As long as you stay within the realm of, corporate drug dealers, you're fine. If you start self-medicating on the street, you're suddenly a loser. The most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. And so, but they again brainwash you, because isn't it ultimately the truth that we're in a cult? We're all in a cult. It was put in a pretty box on the fridge and never talked about, says Omi. Wow. Aren't we in the great American cult? Aren't we in the Republican cult, the Democrat cult, the liberal cult, the progressive cult, the conservative cult, the Tea Party cult? I remember in the local election, the Summit County Democrats started sending out letters to all Democrats saying certain Democrats were not, hey, Jane, were not Democrat. They weren't real Democrats. That's what the Summit County Dems were saying. So-and-so, my friend Zach Milkovich, for example, got one of these letters sent out to his ward. Everybody in his ward got a letter from the Summit County Dems saying that Zach Milkovich was not a true Democrat. Now, let me tell you something. He might not have supported the Summit County Dems because you know what they are? They're corporate Democrats. All they care about is the money. But as far as social values, if you list the social values of what a Democrat is, Zach Milkovich has been one of the truest Democrats I've ever met. It makes for a rough life as a politician, to be truthful. And so, but don't we all do it? Don't we all sit around like looking at what the leaders tell us to believe? What should I believe? I don't know. Well, you should believe that fracking is bad. Okay. Do you even know what fracking is? Nope. Well, don't worry. It's bad. Okay. We are a world of labels and demand. We all choose one regardless if we sign one. Yeah. I think I think they have catered to what a human is, which is a group being. We group up. We are a pack. We must pack up. And so they've used it to manipulate us, not to make us think for ourselves, but to be told what to think, okay? And I can do it on both sides. I can do all the culty thinking on both sides, and I can make everybody mad. I can probably upset every one of you by listing a cult belief that you believe because of politics more than what you actually understand. And the reason is simple. It's so difficult to become an expert on any of these things. We're all busy. How are we going to be an expert on fracking and carbon dioxide and GMO food and corporate farming and industrial farming? It's impossible. So you just go and you're like, all right, whatever. I like these people. They say this is bad. It's bad. Okay? I will say this. I voted for Joe Biden. I hope you do too. But I will say this. A lot of what you heard about Donald Trump was propaganda. It was propaganda if you were a progressive or a liberal. You heard it on CNN and MSNBC and social media carved a swath of people that believe the same thing as you do, and so you were brainwashed into believing certain things about Donald Trump that were either wild exaggerations, not true at all, or, like an exaggeration on a truth, but meant to do one thing, to make you hate Donald Trump, not to make you think for yourself. Nobody wants you to think for yourself. Because they want your vote. Everybody wants something from you, okay? And that maybe is ultimately how all of these become cults. They want your money mostly. Churches want your money. The politicians want your vote and your money. Corporations like Pepsi and, Coke, they want you to, they'll do or say anything to get you to buy what they're selling. They're all salespeople. They are not here to encourage you to be an independent thinker. Now, I was going to talk about this, but I didn't get to it. I think, if I get around to it, I want, mostly for myself, I want to start I'm calling it, I'll probably call it the Sage Way, because, my name is Sage, and why not play off of that thing? Except most were obvious and fact-checkable to be true. Right. My children attend a private Christian school, says Brandy. Oh, yay. Let me hear this. Many people have made assumptions that my kids lead a sheltered life because of this. That couldn't be further from the truth. At home, they've been raised to be the to each their own. Interesting. Hold on. I love this. This is my way of describing never judging anyone based on their choices. For the most part, we've never have to walk in front of authority for anyone's choices but your own. That's amazing, yeah. And so people have no right to call someone else out for their choices or mistakes. Love all equal. What someone does maybe isn't what you do, but they're not you. And allow everyone to think and do what they believe without judgment. That's it. Except most, yeah. So that's beautiful, Brandy. Thank you. Yeah. So this is ultimately where we have to go, and I ultimately believe that we have to become individual thinkers. We have to know when something sounds fishy to us, or how we can fact check something quickly. And I do believe that technology is helping us with that. And the technology, I do believe there's something called the singularity, and we could talk about that another time if you're not familiar, but I think that technology is going to get closer and closer to us, and until it potentially becomes part of us in a certain way, and we become part of it, and then our independent thinking will become really seamless at that point. So what I can say is that I know it's so time consuming to fact check everything somebody says, because it's just hard to do, to take that time. But there are places you can go, like that, Snopes, but then you get people that just aren't going to believe anything, and then that's challenging too. But hopefully you're not that. Hopefully you can find a place that is factual. Reuters is a good place to get news. You'll know it's a good place to get news because it's incredibly boring. You aren't going to be, reading voraciously every next paragraph, because it's just the facts. So that can be helpful, and there's other places like that, but Reuters is good. AP maybe is good. So there's places that you can do, but ultimately we need to get to a place where we are not being duped and manipulated by our puppet masters. And we have to be on the lookout for our puppet masters, because they'll sneak in on you and try to manipulate you for their own benefit, not for your benefit, for their benefit. And then you're in these cult-like situations constantly in them, by brands and churches and politicians, because you don't have enough time in your day to fact check everything. So the Sage Way is going to be about focusing on individual thinking, but it's also going to have a spiritual component and a physical body component, like health, mind, body, spirit type of stuff. But mind most of all, that you can ultimately, if you trust your mind and trust the truth and find the truth and look for the truth, then the rest of your life can truly progress in a way that's meaningful to you individually, not to your church, not to your school, not to your job, but you find your own personal truth. And I just believe that. People, I love you so much. This was so wonderful. Thank you for everything. I do put this up on YouTube. And maybe I can put it some audio someplace. I have, anyways. I'll think about it. But they do all go up on YouTube. YouTube.com/Sage Lewis. All right. Have a great day. Enjoy your drives. You have to have a decent knowledge of history, science, and government, plus yeah, it's a lot, Jane. It's a lot. And what I'm going to say is, like, I'll be inclined to try to tell you the truth. And I love you, Aaron. And then don't I just start my own cult then? It starts all over. Well, I'm going to try to avoid that. That's the problem. I think education is the key, which Confucius actually believed, that that education was the way forward. And I think Plato would believe that, and I believe that your mind, you have to put in some, like, without the education, you are easily duped. You become a puppet and a cult follower very, very easily. All right, people, love you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you haven't voted, please vote. If you do vote for Donald Trump, know that I will never hate you for it. I understand. I know. I love you, Jane. I just want independent thinkers that are happy and are spreading wonderful messages and love and understanding, right? Compassion and empathy to the world. Like, that's my message right now. Yeah, there's many reasons I didn't vote for Donald Trump, but I also understand very well why people would vote for Donald Trump. And you don't need to think that I'm judging you for voting for Donald Trump. You aren't necessarily a racist. You're not. I mean, maybe racists I think racists do vote for Donald Trump, but I'm not saying you're a racist for voting for Donald Trump. There's many other reasons why you would vote for Donald Trump. But please do vote if you haven't voted, please. The differences between Joe Biden and Donald Trump are incredibly different. So I'm not saying that you're going to find somebody that meets all of your needs, but one is very different than the other, and you should be able to find somebody that mostly lines up with what you believe. Okay? I love you. I'll see you later. Bye.